saying Mike Raglan. Are you shorting it up, Rag? Maybe because you dress, you know what I'm saying, you dress cool or whatever. But they be like, hell no. And even when I rant, like I've heard people like jokingly say, "No, you a know it all." Like I don't know a lot of shit. The more that I go and seek knowledge, the more I realize it's a lot of shit I don't know. I know you hating that I'm up. Always 1,000 Michaels everywhere, so just always be able to go Mike Rags, you know, just stuff. That's how I came up with the Rags. My price is gone. You know what time it is, yeah. I love that. Yeah, I tell Carson every time, well, you did your thing with that.
Right.
But you know what time it is. It's your boy Mike Rags. I'm here with, I was telling somebody the other day, I almost called you SpongeBob.
No, that's fine.
Because they were like, bro, you can't call no grown man SpongeBob. I was like, man, I went to high school with this guy. Like,
yeah,
I've known him for so long. But Jonathan Coates.
What's up, man?
Owner of No Tact Talk.
Correct.
Welcome. I'm glad you came here, man. We've been trying to get this together for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I wanted to talk to you about, though, too, because I don't necessarily like doing the virtual like podcast. I like to be in the room with you, feel the vibe, you know what I'm saying, the energy. I think it's just better to be face to face. But I know COVID had a lot of people that I wanted to be guests, like keeping them from like wanting to come and be a person, which I understood. So I know some people were forced to have to do, but I kind of never did it. I just kind of waited until.
I feel it. I mean,
So how do you feel about? Because I see that a lot of yours are virtual. I mean, you have in person too, but
I mean, it's for me. When I first started, I just wanted to be consistent. I have tried to draw. I mean, I'm a guy that would like, okay, let's say you was a basket weaver or something. I want to know. I'm gonna research it for like an hour and like what does it take to be a basket weaver, right? And I have to put my all into it to know, like, do I truly suck, or did you know what I'm saying? For real, if I just truly suck it, I can say that because I actually put all the necessary steps, right? I want to play the piano, I ain't got the patience for it, right? So like with the podcast, I said, okay, I get it. I had the quality of everything set up. I just want to be consistent. So COVID here, like you saying, it can't be no excuse,
right? Yeah.
Because I have to put my all into this. I enjoy it. But I said I can't let anything like kill it. So like, you know, I think every Sunday I probably send maybe 20 emails out. That's anywhere from Mike to Kirk Franklin or something and they just slowly come in. I had to get myself in like this rhythm because we suck as a human. You know, we just naturally lazy. Like you said, it get cold outside. I'm like, I don't feel like recording, right? And so with the virtual thing as well, it is a bit of a disconnect, but I took that as a challenge for me. I said, okay, well, because a lot of my jobs have been with people. You know, AT&T, I was the guy knocking on doors, selling the little K-bar knives, you know. And I always had to put myself in these uncomfortable positions to speak and to, like, draw information out of people. So that, you know, and half the time they ain't got good audio or, like, you know, you very rarely have somebody with a mic. So I use, like, the iPhone headphones. Right. I said, I'm not going to let that be an excuse. So the first couple I did, I got feedback from what I even asked, like, yo, I know it was virtual and all, but it was a good one. Because then I'm like, okay, let me get outside of my head. You listen to, at the time, T.I. had his podcast out, I think it's like Expeditiously or something. Half of his was virtual. Yeah. So why we put so much pressure on ourselves when a T.I. is still doing one virtual, when Lil Wayne was doing his on Apple, on a TV.
Right.
Club Shay Shay, same thing, right? Yeah. I can do the same thing. But we put so much pressure because we're not at that level yet. So I think as we grow and want to do this thing, because as creatives as we are, we're constantly comparing. I'm walking in here right now, dang, like, them lights, blah, 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 boom, boom. It's besides that, because think about it. Most people go viral on like a day one Android. No picture quality. They just flip a cup or something, million views. So I always look at those videos just to remind me, like, no, like, as long as your content is there, as long as you're solid, the rest of the stuff will.
Yeah. Consistency for sure. I definitely believe consistency matters. But and I think it was just my upbringing. Like I tell people all the time. I mean, people might not, a lot of people don't really. I was telling you this too earlier. A lot of people know Rags.
Yeah.
Even Mike Rags. That's college Mike Rags.
Yeah.
But they don't know Michael Ragland. They don't know the young
government.
man. Yeah.
The
Young man. How I grew up and what I did. But I was often on stage when I was young. And that's aside from sports. So I always performed in front of people.
Like what? What you doing?
I did theater a lot when I was growing up, even just weird stuff. I was in the operatic in my senior year with Ransby, with Altamont. I did an operatic with them. I used to always do these, I guess you would call them recitals, but they were productions. This lady named Jackie Lockhart, she was over the dance ministry at our church.
Yeah.
She also had her own studio in the city, and so every year she would have me come in and do Michael Jackson impressions, James Brown
I remember hearing about that a little bit. Yeah.
That's just, but my point in all that is that how she was very, very, very big on the preparation that goes into the performance, as well as the aesthetics and how everything was supposed to look, flow. So for me, that's more so what I've been focusing on in year one, is really trying to just get how I want it to flow, how I want everything to kind of be formatted, so an aesthetic. So when people come and look at it, they know exactly, like, it's uniform. I want it to be. But that's another thing about consistency too, that I learned. Like, consistency is not just about doing things over and over and over, as far as putting them out, but it's about the little things that you're doing.
People pay attention to that.
Yeah, trying to.
That's the only reason I have merchandise. The only reason.
Yeah, so
you go on the website, and I'm thinking like, okay, cool. Let's say a big time person does come. They gonna check you out before you even say yes, right?
Right.
Oh, he got merch. I got one expensive book bag on there. It's a dope book bag. Don't get me wrong. But that, when you
like
buy
a spray ground.
Huh?
Like a spray ground book bag. You ever heard of spray ground? It's a brand.
Well, no, it's a really good book bag. Got a little cell phone holder. It's got it's padded and everything. Champion book bag, cool little embroidered, right? Okay. But that's the one. They tell you about selling clothes. You got to have one kind of expensive thing on the merch, because the rest of them be regular. But it's always gonna be that one person. Oh no, I want to get the big bomber jacket. Yeah. I'm gonna get the some jacket I think Drake was selling for like $400. It was always sold out. Nobody would really buy the shirts for like $40-$50, but that $100 jacket, $200 jacket, sold out. Yeah. Why is that? Well, that's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking like, okay, I'm trying to look the part, because it's all about faking it till you make it. I don't care what nobody says, to a certain extent, until it becomes real. Like, you gotta believe your shit don't sting for a little bit. Nobody ever told you it's my first tattoo. You know what I'm saying? No, you never hear it.
True.
Think about it. And so you gotta like really start to believe in yourself. And even one of my best episodes, I was like super drunk the night before, forgot. Just so happened to have an alarm set. I'm late. I'm trying to drink coffee and stuff, but I had to rely on all the things, like all the stuff I had done. Okay, I had no notes, nothing. So I was legit just going off the hip, and that was one of my best episodes, because I was just tapping into it. It was exhausting for sure. But I said that kind of got me kind of a wake up call. Like, oh, I can do this, but imagine if I just had a little bit more of, like you said, preparation. Yeah. And now we got something going.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing about it. And I was trying to tell you earlier.
My bad.
When you asked me, no, you good. Okay. When you were asking me about what are we going to talk about? Yeah. And that's the response I give everybody who comes on the show. And I guess that's why I try to keep it a rant as much as possible, because that's literally what we do. So I am big on everything kind of being uncensored. For sure. I know when people hear uncensored, they just think of a whole bunch of booty shaking, half naked, just being real derogatory. And it's not that. It's just I really want everything to kind of be raw. Like your opinions, because I feel like this is a safe space. For sure. Rants is my safe space. Even though we put it out there, in here, this is a safe space. For sure. So I feel like I can say what I really want to say. Yeah. And so my point in that is, so when I come in here, my approach is usually off the hip. I have a mental outline in my head. Like, okay, I want to go talk about this. I saw this on social media. Yeah. I'll keep this, or on my close friend stories, I'll ask my people different questions just to see what their response is. Like, okay, yeah, we can kind of talk about this on the show. Because a lot of times when I pull things and I say, well, I had a homeboy, homegirl, it's not necessarily somebody I talked to personally. It's just something that somebody sent.
Yeah, that's what we do. I was just talking to this person the other day.
But it would literally just be a response to a question that I asked on Instagram. But that's how I like that flow, because I feel like it just gives you a more genuine conversation. And because I also told you that I like when people ask me different things too, like Bridge. Yeah, that Bridge. He always got 1,000 questions.
I know, man.
So he did it well, but I like that because not only does it keep it genuine, but it also it gives you an opportunity to say something, mean it, but then since you didn't have a lot of time to try to correct it before you said it or before you expressed it, now we can have a real dialogue about it. And then see, okay, damn, that was kind of ignorant.
So let me ask you a question then. Okay. So I think that, I want your opinion on it. I think that we're constantly chasing ourselves. I've been kind of thinking about the pursuit of how to be great, especially as men, ambition, stuff like that. So we're chasing the best part of ourselves, right? So I'll use us as an example. No tact, right? No tact talk for me. It's pretty much saying I keep it 100. It's a keep it 100 podcast out there. Everybody got this different ways. Rant implies that it might not be something you agree with, because that's my feeling.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So everybody's trying to make themselves, was the Shark Tank word, proprietary. What makes you different than all the other podcasts, right? No, so it's like, do you think that you're chasing a better person of yourself as far as having a different opinion? Because I think you have anybody. If Kevin Samuels can make it, he's terrible. That's about 20% of the stuff I agree with. But he makes it entertaining, whatever. But like, he's still like against the grain, because everybody want to be so politically correct.
Right.
So do you feel like you kind of in that arena? You naturally kind of just want to. That was a lot, but I'm just you know what I'm saying.
I get what you mean. And I say this, as far as how I approach my podcast, is pretty much how I approach, or my show is pretty much how I approach life. In this, while in school at Bama, I was able to meet a lot of Roll Tide. I was able to meet a lot of different people from different places, black, white, other. So I got to be able to learn the way that I was brought up, the way that I think. It means something, but it means something to me. It's my perspective. It's not necessarily the all in all. So once I learned that, I took it upon myself to believe what I believe, but say it in a way, and this was when I was real immature, but say it in a way that it was so direct and it was so controversial that it would get a reaction.
I think that's important.
I was saying things
I can't say that's
to get a
immature.
reaction. But what I've learned over the years is that, because anybody who's been following me on social media for a while know I just started ranting on my Snapchat like in 2017. So I've been just ranting for a while. And some people have come to me and be like, you don't get as raw as you used to. And what I would say to that is that what I'm trying to do now is just be thought provoking. So when I want people to see a Rags rant, I don't necessarily want them to see somebody who's speaking the truth, because it's my opinion. It's my opinion. It's my perspective. But I also understand that there are other perspectives. I don't necessarily believe in a right or wrong when it comes to perspective, because what you believe is what you believe.
Well, people don't know what they believe. That's the kicker.
Sometimes
the two. So they might go to you for one opinion. They might come to me for another. But because they don't have their own, the uneducated, what they call the unpopular vote, the people don't know what they want to do, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They look for other people for their own opinions.
To latch on to.
And it's like 80% of the world.
But what you still have to respect about that is that although what I feel is right, although I feel like this is how it should be done, I can't necessarily tell someone else, even if they don't have their own like moral compass or their own. I can't, cause like I said, I've got to see situations, be a part of situations, be in things that I would probably have never been in if I wasn't like in a what would be a quote unquote bad situation. But the beauty in that situation was that I learned so much that I take with me now. So that's when I started to realize like, oh, okay, good, bad is still a perspective thing, because some people will look at the things that I went through as bad, but I look at them as good. It's kind of like, but
leave it up to interpretation.
But that goes back to the same thing about like my upbringing as a Christian, and that's what I tell folks all the time. They be like, "You still believe?" I'm like, "Yes." Although I'm not as
spiritual, religious,
as I should be, I still believe in those same. Those are what drives me, and that's what I realized. I went out and found my own way, but all those things brought back, because and that's what joy is about. That's what peace is about. A peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah. You hear pastors say that a lot, and that finally clicked to me when my homeboy, my best friend, grandma passed like 2 weeks ago. She was like everybody's grandma. We all us called her Tuma. And when he called me to the hospital when she passed, I went up there and I saw her like laying in the bed, like she was just laid there lifeless. Dang. And everybody was sad. And then in the middle of that sadness though, I was trying to understand. And then I realized there is nothing for me to understand. And that's when that peace kicked in. Yeah. Like this is a fact of life, is that you come in and you gotta go out. That's a fact of life. How you come in and how you go out and what you do in the meantime is based off, like, you have the freedom to make those choices. But the fact of the matter is, you coming in this life and then one day you going out. Like, there's no way about it. Yep. So once you accept that fact, you kind of get that peace when it comes to certain things like that, on death. But that's what I've learned, that, but how it looked to me was more of like a worldly or earthly idea. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't God that I was thinking about when I was trying to find that understanding. I was trying to feel like, damn, like, he already got this going on with his, with this situation. And now he just lost his grandma. It's just like, oh man, like.
So a lot of bad stuff happens to people. What do you think about, like, because it's like, man, if God, people always say, I'm like, God can't be real because blah, 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 boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
So it's funny. People want God to be a magical being.
Okay.
But what people got to realize about magic is it's all illusions. It's just there to make you, it give the appearance of. You got to think about it. So you want God to be able to answer your prayers and my prayers, even if they conflict.
For sports teams, yeah.
Right. Or just in real life. Like,
that's a good example, yeah.
Say in life, I'm praying for a woman who I know is not mine or shouldn't belong to me. Like, is God really supposed to answer that prayer because I'm his child? And he's like, you got to think about, like, what prayer is. Prayer is really, and I had a Ozu, Robert Craig.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he broke it down to me one day, and I don't want to go too deep, but it was basically saying, like, big G, little G.
Correct.
The reason why he wants you to say things sometimes is because you're affirming that to yourself. It's just like any other affirmation. So when you're praying, sometimes it's not just about praying to him to make things happen for you. It's also praying to condition yourself to make things happen for you.
Absolutely.
So that's how prayer works. So that's why a lot of people be talking about the Jeff Bezos prayer, the Bill Gates prayer. Them folks probably don't even really believe in God.
What's information?
Their prayer was just, their prayer was literally them speaking it to themselves. Do you hear how they talk about themselves?
Elon
like
Musk,
they are very confident. Yeah. Like, that's prayer. Like literally that's what prayer is. Like self-affirmations. It's just, that's why he wants you to pray out loud too. So it's not just something you're thinking. It's like something that you're affirming to yourself. Like it's just, that's how things work in nature.
That's what I'm saying. We chasing ourselves, but I think we gotta believe in our own hype a little bit. You get to a point, I'm gonna be humble, all that other type of stuff. But I'm telling you, you don't know what it takes to really motivate yourself. I used to be a personal trainer. Used to work down the street with Shannon in the Riviera Fitness and have my own little thing. And I used to my first 2 appointments would be just sitting down. Cause we're gonna work out. Don't eat cake, don't drink liquor, whatever, right? But I said, what's your mental? Cause I can get you in that dress in 6 months, but after that, it's I'm good. I made the vacation. I'm gonna go back and eat. Yeah. So I said, how can I, make this a longevity type of thing? I said, for me, I'm an extreme personality. I was just talking about my last episode. I said I will go in Walmart probably once a month, legit, scream in the produce section. whatever. No Tact Talk believes you, or some random to strengthen that muscle, because that's what it takes for me. Because this can be crippling. As much as I do it, I'm still nervous every time. And so I have to remind myself, like, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I have to force myself in the corner almost every time to be great. So for some, just read a book, affirmation on the mirror, whatever. Yeah. I said, I need more than that. I said, I learned stuff the hard way. I'm just a hard learner, right? So I have to constantly put myself in these extreme positions to be great. So once it's finally time to, do whatever I got to do, it's easy. And so I was telling the same ladies, I was like, and when we're talking to people, because you're an influencer, you're a content creator, people come to you. I watch your store all the time, because even if it's down to music or whatever else, subliminally, he probably got something to say about it. Right? Even with Bridgman, anything dealing with Kanye, I'm probably going to his Facebook page and see what's going on, right? Because it's subliminal, we get it. So like, I always tell people, even on the podcast, like, no tact. It's not like I'm going around just cussing at funerals, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's, you're putting yourself in an environment to have your honest opinion, like what you're doing, unapologetically. I look at it like that. Like, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. It's a very Christian-based podcast, but people might hear me cuss every now and then, or they might legit see me drinking Jack and Coke, my favorite drink, getting emails. People don't know. Oh, I thought you was a Christian. I said, no, I'm living my life. And we had a little sidebar conversation, a whole other thing, but it's by me living my life is where I've been able to see the biggest change. Because now people have something to hold on to, and they realize, okay, what's gonna motivate me? What's my thing? If it's being a doctor, being in communications, a sound engineer, whatever, what's gonna get me up in the morning? I feel like that's the biggest thing. You can't be great until you figured it out.
Right.
You got to know not the stuff we put out in the deepest, like them shower moments, like you looking yourself naked in the mirror, like what I really want to work on, like those type of moments. And it's not enough of that for anything.
No, it's not. It's because we live in a world that is so virtual that we even get into the place where we're finna create an entire metaverse that is virtual called the
It's
metaverse.
like Ready Player One. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where we're going. What was that show that they used to have that had different episodes? It was not it wasn't like a constant thing. Black Hat or something like that. But they had an episode one time where people literally lived, like how well you did in life was based on your social media.
Oh wow!
Like numbers,
Presence.
yeah. So like, it was all about putting on for social media. It's something you can control. This is what I don't get with people. Is people don't understand, or they understand how they can feel that news and other things are tainted because they're trying to get their perspective through a medium, but don't understand that that's exactly what they do on their phone and social media. From what you put out to what you consume is all about you and what you want to like. So it's going to be framed like you're not going to follow anything that you don't like. So everything that you're going to get on your feed is going to be something that you want to see. Yeah. So it's like we are framing our lives every day. So if what we're consuming is this is what we see, this is what we see, this is what we see from somebody else who is framing what they putting on there, then that means that we're only taking in what we the after we don't get the substance of it. We just get the placebo. It's just like it's there, but it's nothing really. It's nothing in there to actually bag it. It's just something that we see.
Oh, that's good.
So with that, I believe that people have now started to try to live up to a standard that isn't real. It's ideal, but it's not real. So
what's your idea on transparency? How I know we might not get to see Michael Ragland, right? So what's your gauge on that in social media? As far as how much you give
I had
of yourself.
I had to learn how to create a character. That's why I told you. I was explaining to somebody else too. That's why I'm Rags on social media. That's why I'm Mike Rags on social media. And folks are like, oh, so you two different people. No, I'm not saying I'm Kung Fu Kenny and Kendrick Lamar. I'm not saying I'm Beyonce and Sasha Fierce. What I'm saying is simply, or T.I. versus T.I.P. What I'm simply saying is, what you see on social media is only a portion. It's a piece of what I'm a very not gonna say complicated, but I'm a very intricate person. So like, and in order to get to that intricacy, you have to be intimate. And I don't let people in that intimate space.
Why not?
That close, because it's a vulnerable space, and I don't do well with vulnerability. I don't like to feel vulnerable a lot. I'm that type of person. I can be uncomfortable, but not vulnerable.
What's the difference? I'm not trying to keep going off. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you good. Vulnerability means there's almost a dependence on you, or a dependence on something. Like, so if I don't, if like me putting my trust in you, or my heart in you, or my love in you, kind of leaves me dependent on you doing what you said you're gonna do. So I guess it kind of boils down to a trust thing. So I don't trust people to always have my best interest at heart.
I have that problem. I don't know if it's a problem or not. I'm the complete opposite. Like, I give people 100% off rip.
All the time.
And you have to take it off. Oh, you didn't show up on time. That's now 90%. I can't help it. Call it like light skin thing or whatever you want to call it. But I wear my feelings on my sleeves. Like the SpongeBob thing, that came from me being a small little yellow kid. You know what I'm saying? I think at a certain point I had a big afro. Me and what's the girl? I used to call her Sandy, because she started that. Oh man, I'm gonna figure it out. But same person. I think it was the same year. She called me SpongeBob. I called her Sandy, and then legit on my senior jacket, I remember being light skinned. Yeah. Because everybody like, I could see your veins. So I had to flip it. You know, both of my parents probably lighter than me. And so I had to flip it and make it a thing. So by the time I'm leaving, you heard about light skin? It was a popularity thing. And I was in the band. You know, we played in the drum line and stuff. I wouldn't think I was a cool kid, but I always bought in the idea of just doing what I wanted to do.
Right, yeah.
And so I'm always making lemonade. Every year I'm making a different type of lemonade, you know. Yeah. And so it's okay. So I agree to what you're saying as far as protecting yourself, but I always say, hey, if you can go out on a date, I'd rather just have a bottle of tequila in the middle. First date. What's your trauma? What's your daddy issues? What you deal with first? Let's get all that stuff out the way. You ain't gotta have sex. I just ain't got time. Right. To just, all right, we've been friends for you. Let me see if I can give him a little more of Mike. Well, how we switch from this rags to Mike or whatever else. Right. I don't have time for that. And now it's terrible because a lot of relationships fall through, but now I think I built that callus to where it's okay now. Yeah. But I had to look at myself and like, okay, who am I in general? But I get, it's so exhausting to, let's say you start being like super cool, like, that's it. All right, cool. I'm straight. But it's too much stuff we got to do in this world. So I always worry about, I wonder if he doing this. I wonder if he doing that. Right. That's safe. We both from Birmingham. I get it. Right. You're aware, but I think that's the difference between like, okay, cool. If our friendship really started here just from this podcast, I ain't got nothing against the guy. So why am I automatically putting up walls? Yeah. This is me. No. I get why you put them up.
It's no right or wrong to it. It's just perspective, because I don't feel like that's a wrong thing to do. I just feel like, for me personally,
I get everything you said.
And I guess it does. It would stem from some kind of trauma. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I ain't no therapist. We get on down that.
That's what I say. It was stem from some sort of trauma, and I need to talk to somebody about that. But I've always just learned, and I tell people, because intimacy is not a sexual thing. Yeah, I can have plenty of sex with a woman and not be intimate with her. Right. Even if the sex is passionate, doesn't mean I'm letting you in to who I am. Correct. Really. That's why I tell you, intimacy is a closeness. Closeness is not a physical thing. It's a bond. It's a spiritual and an emotional thing and a mental thing. So when I tell women that, they just think the worst of me, like, oh, you just using me for my body. It's not that.
First of all, you agreed to this.
Yeah, this is consensual. Don't act like you know. But and I don't lie. I'm usually very, very upfront with my intentions. But I always make sure that I try to explain to them like how I am, because I don't say I'm a time release type of guy. So it's like a pill that you take. It works as over time. It lasts you those 8 hours. So as we go forward in time, eventually it would say it's a time thing. It's not necessarily it's a time, and because the only thing that can speed up that time is circumstance. So say if we were into something and you proved to me in that something
Solid.
that I can trust it now. It doesn't even have to be nothing made. It ain't got to be about no
nigga
didn't fold on me. He ain't snitch on me.
They call it your core values.
Yeah, it's just something that I like. Oh damn, okay, he was okay. That's something I felt okay.
Because it's surprising.
Yeah,
it is having a real person in your life is surprising. Like I can't trust you because it's you can't trust nobody. It's so funny. I was just in Austin, very super free area. That's where I live at. And I come back to because it's nothing like Dallas or Houston. It's
right,
like,
but I know friends who've been in Austin.
Yeah, it's like the Cali of Texas.
It's like a little tech kind of
free,
tech city,
liberal, whatever. Texas, boom. So I come back to Birmingham, and I remember going to T-Bone's, one of my favorite joints on I think 21st Street, whatever it is, and that man is just so rude. But I was just bust out laughing. I think he's from like the Bronx or something. I said I want I forgot what the menu was. I just know I want pepperoni. Hey, what you want, man? I was like, bro. Cause I didn't even get offended. It was just so funny because I'm back home, And so it's just as you move and learn more about people, it's like it's just the environment that they were in. So something I'm learning as a man is to give people a lot more grace initially, because I'm again like I can't say the way you live your life or you trust people is wrong because you're a product of your environment.
Right.
So that's just your your way. But I'm gonna still show you mine as well. That's the
real.
The dichotomy of the words they say, right?
Yeah,
and so it's like you said, life is all about exchanges. So we're both gonna take something from this exchange and use it whether we know it or not.
Right.
Especially in podcasting, we get deep, quote unquote, deep all the time. But I had to realize one for one what my core values were. What's important to me, not what the world says is important. What's at the end of the day, like you said, what's gonna do it for me to let you know who Jonathan Coast is.
Right.
Because it's weird. You just said my whole name. I haven't been called that on the wax of a video in like years. Yeah. It's usually like Jay. People at work call me Sergeant Coates. My mama called me Marble Eyes because I guess I got big eyes. I don't know. But it was weird on me, and I was just thinking, it's funny you introduced me as that because I'm not trying to be long with it. No, I know I go a lot of different places.
Yeah, we got
charged to the ADHD.
We got plenty of time.
But I was thinking about the relationship that Jonathan and David had in the Bible. I'm like a mini theologian. I went to school for it and stuff,
Oh, okay.
But to talk about your intimacy point, as they say, some theologians thought they were even in a relationship. That's how close they were.
Yeah.
So to have a covenant, quote unquote, relationship, or to be that close to somebody, I love you, bro. You know how hard it is for me to do? I just picked it up like 2 or 3 years ago. To be so that close, I love you, bro, and then not be like, all right, man, and go
weirded out,
yeah. And so that's hard for a lot of people to do. So I said, okay, I got my core values, I got my people. I had to do an episode called My Inner Circle. I told him, I said, hey, you my best friend. You know what I'm saying? I already told him, I said, and I'm theirs too, but I told him I didn't care if they were or not. I said, because you're important to me. You hit my core values, and then I was so open, and it was like, dang, okay. You cool, you know what I'm saying? It was like a thing because I honestly, and it's gonna sound really weird, I don't really care what you think half the time. I tell my wife too. I said, we have an argument. I would rather me be crazy and whatever else, and you get it. Then we go through this whole thing. And I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm gonna do it. No, I ain't got time for that because people are trapped in marriages, bro. Like for 10, 20 years, and they get free one day, and now they worry about family, and I was involved with you. And no, I don't have time for that. I'm just so laser focused because I know who I am. And it's not to say I'm woke or nothing else, but I said I took time to figure out who the hell Jonathan was. Like it took a lot. Not going on vacations by myself or all the stuff we see and I'm dating me or all that other bull. But it's like I took inventory on myself. I said, this is what is important to me. This is even you. I think I hit you up first. I don't know. Maybe you did. I don't know. But I said, I like what he putting out. So at some point I want to work with him. Somebody with 500,000 followers. I just happened to hit up one night. They hit me back, and I saw what they was putting out this time. I said, I don't like it. It would have been great for me. Just did not align with my core values.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to hold true. These relationships that you and him probably have, it's just going to hold true. Just consistency. It's like you being what you saying you're going to be. You like you saying you building that muscle, but initially, bro, like, yeah, that's it. You got it all. So I know I'm kind of get along with it.
I don't know. You good. I mean, because I do, like I said, like people who know me, like Gat know me. I've known we stepped together. Well, he actually stepped with my older brother. So I guess I was just a little rant that was running around with them. But I always hung with them and my brother's age group when I was younger because That was
That's
other than Nigel and Mike Martin and maybe people at school.
Mm-hmm.
But like as far as like when I was outside of church or school, and if I was hanging with somebody, that was my brother and his friend. So, he knows me like very well, and he doesn't sometimes see the difference. And I've know people who know me, they can't necessarily see the difference. And I said it's not that I'm a different person. Like Rags is not a different person.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a part of me. Like you just get a piece of
you
me.
got you.
Yeah.
We're multifaceted
It's not
people.
like I'm trying to cut you off anything. It's just I do that to not only protect myself, but to protect relationships that Michael has outside of this. And one in particular was my brother's relationship. Me and my oldest brother, older brother. I got two brothers, but my older brother who's gay. And I've known, I think, for a long time. And one of my homegirls was telling me this the other day, and she was just like, "You ever apologize to your brother for some of the shit you say?" I was like, I never thought about it in a way to where I need to apologize to him for anything that I say, especially now. But I know for things that I've said in the past, before, possibly, because although I love him and don't take anything from him as a person, like I don't at all, I still don't
rock with that.
Agree, with the lifestyle. But I tell people that doesn't necessarily believe, because I'm like I tell you, I don't necessarily believe, I don't get too big on right or wrong. So I don't necessarily say what he does is wrong. Not for me. Yeah. I do things, I partake in certain things.
He might not
rituals.
Okay, yeah, for sure. For sure.
That my brother doesn't partake in. He doesn't judge me for it, but he don't rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't make me a bad person to him, doesn't make him a bad person to me. We have that understanding, but I had to learn that some people don't like me speaking about something that they might be doing themselves so strongly, because then it makes me feel like I'm judging them. So it kept my brother from being able to come out to
your
me.
Your brother, sure, okay.
So it kept him from
outside of family.
It kept him from coming out to me.
Okay.
So it was just like, damn, you told your friends before you told me. Like, you told Mike and Justin before you told me. I kind of felt some type of way. Like, nigga, like, you still my brother. Like, nigga, like, what the fuck? Like, at the end of the day, nothing is gonna.
But that relationship probably was so important to him.
Yeah, and it was important to me too, because like I was his shadow growing up. Yeah, my brother's 7 years older than me, so like he was a little too old to be like my peer, but he was too young to be my father. So he was out, but he was always
kind of like that mini mentor. Yeah.
So like it did hurt me. So I did learn in that time though that people that I love understand that Rags is really still going to speak on this. Not saying that me being two-faced or even code switching, not if racially code switching, but as far as just code switching on how I feel about certain things, it's not that. It's just me understanding that there is a balance.
Yeah, you have. So when you say become a person that speaks out against things, however you want to call it, like you said, the balance is being able to retract a statement, kind of like a news station. Yeah, we got it wrong. Yeah, because
I tell people that all the time. Like I'm cool with saying something loud and ignorant.
You got to say it as loud if something else come out. Yeah.
But and I'm cool with coming back and saying I was wrong. Like I don't have no problem with that because I know I'm not always right. Yeah.
So you say rants continue.
But so that's why I kept the rants going. Yeah. But that's why I always brand myself as just Rags now. Like even when I meet people, the first thing I Rags. First off, because it's 1,000 Michaels everywhere too. So I don't want to feel like I don't feel like telling phone already. You feel? I don't feel like telling folks Michael Ragland every time. Like that's a lot to say. So it's just like shit, just
a lot of syllables.
Just like for real, like when it came to me, and this is a side story, but when it comes to me naming my dogs, like my original dog name was Gambino after Childish Gambino.
For sure. I
called him Bino for short because it's easy. This dog name is Kobe Bean Bryant. I call him Bean because so it's Bean. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he knows. But he was named after Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was just like it's weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just love So rags. Once I realized I cut the mic off and everything, no mic rags, it's rags. Like, it's easier. And like I said, it's just a character, but it's a character to protect those that I love.
Same thing for me. So like I'm known, like I was telling you before, I'm mainly just Jay. Everything in social media, Jay Coates, whatever. I kept the last name because I got tattooed on me. Everything is important. I think my last name is, we lineage. You worried about that, but like my first name, I never held too much weight to. Everybody just know me as Jay. Mm-hmm. So where it's weird now, like to hear my name, like my real name, it really is.
To hear Jonathan.
It's like an earworm. It's like you kind of get pulled in your ear. It's so, but I just didn't want to. Cause my mama said, she's like, "How come you always go by Jay?" I said, "I don't know. I just kind of, that's my nickname."
Yeah, that's what
but to her, it offended her a little bit. I named you after Jonathan. It means a gift from God. Blah blah blah. I said, I never thought about it, and I said, well. Because, we think about when Rags Rants blow up and No Tech Talk blow up, you're going to be known as, Rags, or however you're going to be called, and I'm going to be known as Jay. But I think about, because what we do, again, is a lot of transparency. You might be talking to yourself. Your rants could be your own therapy because you legit getting it out. You putting it out. You just happen to be recording on Instagram. But it's still a form of therapy, and you're learning more about yourself.
This is my safe space.
Yeah, me on No Tech Talk first episode to now is, oh my God, like two different people. I'm learning more about women's rights and the hair and homosexuality, and I'm still myself. I'm still asking the questions, but I'm learning more about me, how to present, because I'm still No Tech. But I'm just asking the questions to where most people be afraid to do it. That's what I was talking about earlier. They're so in fear of what you might think about them from asking a question that they will never do it and they'll die just wondering.
So let me ask you something.
All right.
What's one thing that you grew up learning just in life? It could be a philosophy. It could be a actual lesson that you learned. What's one thing that you learned growing up that you found out through your podcast, just interacting with different people, watching yourself talk, and as you... Because I know you go back and watch your rants when you're done. Like I do. So you sometimes watch stuff and learn something about yourself as you're talking. What is one thing that stuck with you? Like, damn, I learned about myself through through this journey.
I'm selfish. I am. I pray usually before I do one. I say, Lord, let this be about, because it's an interview-based podcast. I say, let it be about them and not me, because I could talk. I know I could talk. Right. I'm that nigga. I just am. I get it. It's a divine blessing. You call it what you want to call it. Right. But
gift of gab.
Yeah, for sure. And so, but I didn't even know that's a form of currency. What we're doing here is so invaluable. They said that 80% of people are afraid of public speaking. The other 20% are lying. That's what they say.
Damn.
It takes a lot. But I learned that I was naturally selfish because I want to I got feelings. I got opinions. It's my show. I'm going to make sure I'm heard. It's hosted by Jay Coates. Yeah. And I'm talking more than they are. And I'm supposed to be interviewing them.
Right.
But in life, you want to be humble, this and the third. But I said, when it comes to my baby, like, no, this is my time to speak. Because, this form of therapy for me. And so as I grew and learned, I started to just kind of do this. And shut up. Just shut up sometimes. And that's probably the biggest thing that I learned is quit being selfish. It's not about you. The gift that you have is from God. He's the only person that can elevate this medium that we have, which is the waves. It's the waves we push out, the vibrations, right. The frequencies. Yeah, sure. He changes the frequencies to where you think it's the worst episode ever. That's going to be your biggest one almost every time. He was like, man, that was trash. Jay wasn't talking that much. The way he was sitting, his shirt was blue, going against the wall, blah, blah, blah. But this could be the biggest one. Who knows, right? It's like all of them have been like that. The ones and I liked all of them, don't get me wrong, but the ones where I felt like I was talking too much or they didn't really want to give me what I wanted, why is that? Because I got beside myself and I just let it happen. I stayed consistent. I let the podcast just flow and put it out to the atmosphere, and that's all we can do. It's just put what we out, do in the atmosphere. I
think that there's nothing wrong. I tell people this all the time. That because you probably grew up thinking that being selfish is a character flaw.
Oh, it's a strength.
Double-edged sword. But you learn that, and that's what I say about like life in general, and that's why I feel like I can. If I was one of those people who ever made it big, and they go back and pull some old tweets or some old Facebook statuses
about
some shit.
We're
I
already
said,
canceled. For sure.
I'm not gonna care though, because one thing about me is though, it should show that I was. If somebody bring up something 10 years, it's like, nigga, if I felt the same 10 years ago, then why am I even still here? You see what I'm saying? Like I've outlived my purpose if I'm no longer growing and learning. Like, so why am I wasting time?
It's almost like I saw y'all talk about cancel culture too. I was like, it's almost like it's a compliment.
Yeah,
it is.
Nowadays,
it's a compliment. It's like, oh God, I have an opinion.
Yeah,
that's not what the industries are saying.
Politically correct.
Forget y'all.
I like that. I do. Let's talk more about cancel culture.
All right.
The one thing about cancel culture that I will say, I know a lot of people give the LGBTQIA
117.
They give them so much. They give them so much flack about being like the big cancel culture pushers, but really black folks started that. Like we started the black
Twitter,
the whole started thing. Cancel culture. Like we started wanting to cancel. They say nigga. We found out they said nigga 10 years ago. Cancel them. They white. Oh, they can't say that. Cancel. And I've always been the person, and folks always looked at me like I was stupid. But I've always been the person who was like, stop canceling motherfuckers. Because the first thing, is the first thing, is that although they might be famous, whether it's Instagram, social media, or just from what they do, like their art, they are still all regular as hell.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like they got a lot of money, but they are still people to the core. So they're gonna make mistakes. Like it's not okay to just when you see someone make one mistake to be like, oh, that mistake defines who they are as a person and how they have moved or how they will be moving forward. I feel like that's very, 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 very wrong.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I feel is like there are some things that I feel like is wrong, and that's a thing that to try to hold someone or judge someone. My favorite verse is from the Mount, Sermon on the Mount, where he started with, judge not, you be not judged. That's what I always start out with. When I say grace, that's my grace.
Okay,
yeah, that's my go-to, and that's why I try to live by. So I've been big on like black people. Stop being so judgy because it's gonna come back. Anything we do, you best believe, and they find out it's remotely effective. You know they gonna, people gonna take it and flip it and make it better. People that's in power. So now you got people like the baby trying to cancel the baby, cancel Boosie. Like we started this though. Like why y'all mad at them folks for doing what we like? This is a tactic that we did
his whole life, man.
Oh yeah, now that's a whole another story. I can't even be mad at Boosie. Like,
he been like.
Always come on Boosie, bro. Like this ain't no new shit. Like Boosie, this the same nigga on Ghetto Story that say if you show me a 20 in this motherfucker, I'm pussy, and he's just throwing money on the ground, just like he ignorant. But I respect Boosie. Like
well, the thing he's never really went pop. That's what saved him because you look at the baby, he went pop a little bit. Oh, I forgot whatever her name was, and then
he definitely went Billboard.
Yeah, that ain't nothing wrong with that, but. But you still try to keep this persona, but that's a lot of times where the money is. You just do a one feature with, I don't know, Kesha or whoever else. And the girl, yeah. And now he's in a different category. That's kind of how Drake did his thing.
Right.
He wasn't never no hood nigga, but he's everywhere. He's equally amounts. I'm here. I do a little island thing, whatever you be doing. So he's good for at the cookout for everybody.
For everybody.
So
and that's what Baby was trying to get. I feel what you're saying.
But for him, it's just because. The form of your podcast, you want the real me, and so he was just being him
to the core.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no matter how much you try to hide it, it's gonna come out eventually. It's got to. Like, I remember cussing in front of my dad, my Deacon Coates, dad one time because I was that's some bullshit. I was like 12, I don't know, but I really felt that way. I think we was watching an Alabama game or something. The ref made a bad call, some bullshit, and he was like.
Sports to do it every time.
Because
sports to do it every time.
Oh man,
they bring out the worst.
you can't hide it, and that's why I think what we do is so important. Is because people are watching, man. It may not necessarily show in the statistics or whatever else, but once you realize that people, because I saw like maybe 5 people here I haven't talked to in forever just from being in the city. Oh man, I heard you doing it. They knew more about the podcast. I'm like, you don't even like my stuff.
Yeah, but they watch.
They watch though.
They watch.
Look at the views versus the likes.
Yeah.
Come on, man. They even when talking to like youth and they be playing the game, but they listening. They soak it up, and when you realize that you're creating your own carbon footprint out there, this has space. This has property in the world, whatever you want to call it. You ain't doing half bad.
Yeah.
Podcasts are still new. Think about it. This is still a new environment. And it could be, let's say it's 1 million podcasts out there, 10,000 growing every day. Imagine how many people are quitting. Imagine how many people aren't putting good content out there. Imagine how many people don't have what you have. Bro, think about it. Like, you top 10%. Now, look at it from a different perspective. I heard this preacher talk about one time. He said, everybody in here is rich. And he broke it down to, from here, like as far as the world. We're not talking about the United States. The fact that you have a car that can drive you places, you put gas in, and not think about the price. The fact that you can go to a restaurant, have one person take you to your seat, have another separate person take your order, have another separate person cook the food, and then you still able to tip and go back to your house that has heat. It's like you're rich. But by comparison, I ain't got it. Yeah. I ain't got the chain, my guy. I got a regular rope. I ain't got whatever. I'm just saying. You have to just constantly put yourself in an environment to be like grateful and to understand like, yo, I'm out here doing it. Yeah. I am. I come back to some people doing the same thing that's not elevating like you. Because, I believe in your city. I love Birmingham, right? But the same dude tried to go to the club with me. I was like, bro, I don't even really do like that. He was doing the exact same thing. I've been gone for like 8 years. I come back for the holidays and stuff. Same place, the same Impala. He got the same plug. So, like, no growth.
Yeah, the same thing, yeah.
And it's like, yo, and that makes me feel good. It's those moments. I latch on to those moments. So, like, I'm blessed out here. Like, I might not be where I want to be, but, like, if I die right now, I ain't got to worry about my utilities. I got my nice little dog and my wife. I'm cool. There's nothing wrong with wanting more.
Right, for sure.
But I'm happy going to sleep at night. We're all going to have ambition. We get that confused. We get ambition and what we have confused. Yes, we want more, but what do I have right now? Like I said, take inventory of what I have right now, and then that's how we move forward.
Being ambitious while still having
at this
gratitude.
point, everything else is icing.
Yeah, having gratitude.
We already got the cake.
Have. Yeah, no, that's right. Just like I said, we can always go to the Bible because I still use the Bible to make references to things, even though I don't even get. And that's one thing too. I don't even get in arguments with folks about the Bible and shit like that. No
I make it my point too. I got time
to make people, because you know what they say is like arguing with a fool is they still gonna be
they
a
have
fool.
to be able to receive me. But
be a fool,
the Bible, what gets people is the historical context,
right? Yeah,
and so I'll use a big one, slavery. In the Bible, it mentioned slavery, but that was like
that's like being in debt. That's like being
it wasn't like a bad thing. It could have been a white person in slavery, but it could have been anybody in slavery. Hey, it was a contract. They were technically called your slave, but I'm gonna work for you for 4 years. They gonna
work off my debt. Yeah,
or it could be just in general.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I've done the research for that reason.
Servitude,
yeah, because I'm gonna believe in a God that we used to be slaves, and that's crazy. The white man just chill. Half the people just heard a rhetoric on one Dr. Umar video. Huh? Yes, everybody had slaves. This is what they call them. Too. Yeah. Black Africa, when they came over to get us, they had slaves for black folks. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So they don't know all of that. They just know what they heard on the Dr. Umar Breakfast Club interview. Yes, we're little G's. Yes, we're kings, but like have context. So now it's the same thing as like going to work at Amazon. You pretty much a slave, bro. Like it sucks, but you getting paid for it. You signed up for it. Somebody could say I'm a slave to whoever the president is. I'm in the military, right? I don't work directly for Biden, whoever in the office, right? I got paid more when Trump was in office. That mean I like him? No. Yeah. Whatever. So people, that's what I'm saying. Sheeple is what's the guy who said, coined that phrase? He's the guy, Toby Wingway.
Oh, yeah.
He said people, because the fact that you have a microphone and you're not scared to speak into it and that you have your own damn opinion, oh my God, you're like above this entire city. Like you have to look at it like that. You are, because people are afraid to put their opinion out into the atmosphere because they're so crippled by the fear of the rebuttal.
What they worried about what folks gonna say to them.
Yeah,
that's one. I don't know. I've never, because you talked earlier about like how you psych yourself up.
Got to.
I've never had to do that. I guess my parents. Kudos to my parents. Not saying that if your parents didn't do didn't make you
shouldn't
feel
even have
like
to
this.
give the
But yeah.
caveat.
But
no,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
kudos to my parents.
Yeah.
But they raised me, not saying right, but they raised me in a way to where I know, like, I had a classmate in high school in our senior book. He felt like I was a universal genius. Mm-hmm. What he meant by that is that he just felt like there was absolutely nothing that I wanted to do that I couldn't master. It's just about picking what it was. My parents instilled that in me and I carried that with me already. So I don't have to go psych myself up, but sometimes I do lose
sight.
That. I lose that sometimes, that knowledge of I can be a master of whatever.
Yeah.
Because I am in creation. And we was talking about this earlier. Like when you're creating, you're so hard on yourself. You're so nitpick about everything to where sometimes you lose that gratitude while you're being ambitious. So that's why I said all that to get back to the point of no matter if you have to be the type of person to psych you up, or if you have it already, even Kanye, I'm sure, as arrogant as he is,
that's what
he
made him a
definitely
billionaire.
loses it sometimes.
Yeah.
He loses that about himself sometimes. It has to go somewhere.
Well, it's like the MJ feel. You saw the document.
Yeah.
So he looking at me funny.
Yeah.
He might looking at you funny.
He had to go conjure up a reason.
Yep. That's
to get into that mode. So I mean, that's why it's like I'm trying to find that balance as well, like being ambitious while making sure I'm still living in gratitude for what.
Because it's not contentment.
It's
not being complacent. Yeah. It's like you said, it's living in gratitude and living in like it's not that bad.
Yeah, it could
stop
definitely
comparing.
Be worse.
It could be so.
Definitely be worse.
You know what I'm saying? Like I thought about. I went to Timber Chase Apartments down the street from here, right off Valley, right by that same shit I used to go to all the time. I had I think it was like 1-bedroom apartment. I used to have a walkable block just to wash my clothes. Like it wasn't even a washer or dryer in there. $625 a month, and I had a Honda Civic. Couldn't put gas in a Honda Civic. I used to work at the same Portfolio Recovery Associates that's within a mile, just so I could walk
to work
sometimes because it was that bad. And I went and sat in the parking lot just for a minute. I had to do that for myself. I'm like, yo, I just came a long way.
Yeah, that's the BC way it started and how you got.
I wish there was a DoorDash back in the day. I would have made it. I would be. You mean tell me I can get this money on Monday?
Over $1,000 a week on Instacart.
You feel me?
I know he making over $1,000 a week on Instacart. He love the show.
Ways to do it. Yeah, hey, check what I did. Yeah.
I ain't have to go clock in today because we used to get on him so much because he used to work like 2-3 jobs. And he'd be just working out there like, but you a Jamaican. No, but like, but you a Jamaican. Like, you
most stereotypes are true.
So it's like, but well, you need to chill out. You know what I'm saying? And then he said he got hooked on this Instacart during COVID.
Yeah.
And figured like, oh yeah, now that's all he got to do is now is Instacart and get paid more than what he was like working all them hard like 3 jobs. Like hell nah, but y'all be doing too much. I also wanted to discuss some just we keep it a little light right here. Keep it a little sports and entertainment talk.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So who you got? Oh, well, let me ask this first. Are you a NFL, NBA, college?
I'm a big college. I'm an Alabama fan all the way.
Okay, so Alabama.
Anything NFL, NBA, it's mainly just entertainment. I watch it. It's on Sundays. I used to watch. I think my dad liked the Lakers a lot, so I'm seeing what Russell doing and all the good stuff. But I'm a really big college fan. I stay tapped into the media for podcast purposes. Because talking to another marketing guy, I actually have to care sometimes what's going on in Insecure and put it in my. I watch it
in what you got.
But it's not gonna be the Jesus clip. It's gonna be the Insecure clip, and then it brings them to it. So I hate that part.
Right.
I'm more of a niche thing. Like we could talk about toothpicks for an hour, but you still gonna get a scripture. I'm still gonna ask you like the random question today. Those are my 2 segments. But I honestly, I care about what I care about. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even be on social media for real. I wouldn't. I don't care. But the more I comment on people's stuff, it brings it back to me, and it all feeds the thing. So I just take an hour of my day. Okay, cool. But I definitely love college football. I talk whatever, but usually just like the politics of it all, like the shit up and dribbles or whatever.
We can stay college. Because I'm.
Hey, let me know something. We can talk about it.
Nah, we can stay college. Okay. So, Bama fan.
For sure.
Me as well. I'm a Bama fan. Good man. How confident are you in our ability to actually beat Georgia.
Oh no! Did you see them
yesterday?
That's
who we gonna have to get through. Do you feel confident?
So I'm surprised we're 8-1. I'm a diehard Bama fan. I know the history of Big Al and everything. Like he used to be a red elephant. He used to be really creepy. Look it up. But we're scraped by I think 2 or 3 games. We just won by time. We just doing a timeout, specifically, and it was super close. So we didn't really have anything else. Everybody said we're a young team, whatever else. But ain't never been no excuse. But this year, I'm nervous.
Right.
I think we missed a field goal the last game or so, off of a touchdown, a regular field goal. Yeah. I think that Georgia's bigger than us this year, as far as because we all talk about them Southern homegrown cornbread fed boys. They're just bigger and more athletic than us. Usually we get that from Bama or even an Ole Miss. But because this the Georgia curse though. They can still mess it up. Yeah. Think about the Braves, the Falcons, and the Georgia. That's my only little caveat.
Yeah, for sure. I tell people this: our offensive line is god awful.
Yeah. We got good defense. That's about it.
We got 2 5-stars that we went and got last year that don't even start. I'm confused about. But I know Saban is real big on if you put your time here, you'll get your time to prove yourself.
Yeah, it's been proven.
So I believe that if we can somehow get that line to get better in the next, because if you give Bryce Young any time, and if you can make sure that Georgia has to respect Brian Robinson, if you give Bryce Young any time back there with Jameson, is it James? Yeah, Jameson and Mechie.
Real, he tough.
Them corners.
That's what gets it from me, because usually we have a couple of chess pieces. Now it just feels like we're just so thin. If one of them go down, that's it. If you don't go down, that's it.
Back. We ain't even that deep at running back this year. What the college just went out? Williams just went out.
Because some years we're a pass option team. Most years we're a running team. But now it's whatever works.
Yeah.
It's
and that's another thing too. I didn't know what the fuck Bill O'Brien was gonna look like as an offensive coordinator, but I guess. But I can't blame it all on Bill, right? on Bill O'Brien, because we are putting up hella points. So it's not just that. It's the defense too. But
and then they're still, you can still kind of tell that they're scared. They play a lot better at home team. It's hard being at LSU. It's a lot. I think the behind the scenes of football is obviously really important, down to the yoga and the mentality you have to have. Right at this stage, it's more than just hitting the little thing when you leave the locker room. You really have to believe, in the team mindset.
Right.
And you got this 19-year-old kid who just learning about himself. Voice just got deep.
Still trying to be a man.
Yeah. And so now all this pressure's on you. You're on national television. I think if you can master that, then they can be unstoppable. And so that's the ideology that Saban has put into. I was so happy when he signed for 10 more years. I was like, I don't care if you're 85, bro. We out here. So I like that he cares about black people. At least for me. I met him one time, and I like how he defends his quarterbacks, and he it's something controversial or whatever. Even the guy that got caught smoking weed them times, he was on their side. So I like that as far as the program. And everybody in the South, we all have racist roots. So we're changing. We're growing.
Right, for sure.
Still a red state,
for
whatever.
Sure.
It's cool, but
for sure,
we'll be like Georgia one day. But I think he cares. It's a good organization. So yeah, that's what I'm at.
I believe we are surprisingly in a good place. I believe for the young talent that we have now, them going into the SEC, these, this last, what we got, Arkansas, then Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
If we win those 2 games, then SEC
every game for us is nothing to lose.
Yeah. So, but
Alabama.
I think now it's better that they are more so the underdog.
I hate
not everybody
the whole time.
I feel like everybody is gunning for Georgia now.
Good.
Which means that these players, young players, usually play better when they have a chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would be able to harness that, get them
That's a good point.
Super focused. And I honestly believe that Georgia's offense is mediocre. And not that we have to stop them on defense, or our defense has to play better. I think when we play them, our offense just will have to be able to be better than their defense. If we can put up points and make it to where Georgia has to score with us, that's when they're gonna be in a problem.
We score a lot of our points early.
Yeah, that's what
we
need
last
to
the fourth quarter, but it's like now we got to just keep tacking them.
We need it when we play Georgia. Like I said, if their offensive line can protect, if they can push. But they were playing, who did they play last year? New Mexico State? Was that who they just played, bro? Yeah. When I saw
59
number
3, whatever it was,
number 90 or whatever was in the backfield and shit, every play, I'm like, bro, this is new. No disrespect, but nigga, this is New Mexico State. You know they not as big as
you gotta play like that though. That's Georgia. The mentality. Play like it's Georgia every week.
No, I'm saying
what?
Number 90 from New Mexico State was making it to our backfield. Like Brian Robinson was looking bad that first half, like because he couldn't get anywhere. Like the line was creating no holes anywhere, no push. Like, bruh, it was like they were pass. It was almost like they were pass blocking on the run plays. Like they wasn't getting no push down the field. I was like, bro, what the? This is New Mexico State. We cannot be like this. Georgia, like you said, Georgia gonna have them boy.
They got them boys this year.
You seen what LSU practice squad was doing?
Yeah.
I mean, they had like 9 players missing on offense. I mean, on defense that game against us, and them boys were. Still,
they're the team that their coaches all finna get fired, right? In the LSU.
Yeah, Ed.
I wouldn't even care.
This is the farewell tour for Ed Ogeron. Yeah, man. But yeah, I think Bama. I really honestly believe in my heart of hearts. Like if I were to go bet on a team to win the college football championship this year, I would go bet my money.
I bet on Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on Georgia. I bet on Alabama.
I can't see nobody else in there, and I was so mad that I think UT because I'm in Austin, so they trying their best. It's a lot of money, but there's no SEC feel because Texas.
That's why they're trying to come over there.
I think they're here now, right or no?
Well, they in there, but they won't actually officially join. I think until 23.
Man, that's trash.
I think they might try to get them in next year, but I think 23.
For them, it's a better recruitment pool. But at this point, just get rid of the Big 10, whatever they in. And it's like
Big 12,
yeah, 12. It's like, bro.
But I think they trying to add in some teams like I think Cincinnati. Is gonna go to the Big 12.
So that's an upgrade for them too.
Yeah, okay. So like teams like that are trying to go into that next, cause they gonna lose Oklahoma and Texas. So that means Oklahoma State. It'll still be Oklahoma State, Texas Tech.
It's doing the rest of the country a disservice because they're 10-0 and they come play Georgia one time and they realize, oh, I wasn't really playing football.
Yeah,
like, this ain't real. They usually smaller and faster and like
But I mean, Cincinnati, I don't want to take anything from them, but like, yeah, I mean, it's Cincinnati, bro. Like, you can't expect us to be happy about you being like, look at Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah,
they undefeated right now too. Like, so what? They ranked number 18.
I'm gonna switch it up now.
What's up?
Question I always ask is, how do you maintain your peace? How do you like chill?
Full disclosure. I smoke a lot of weed.
Besides that, I get it.
That's my honest answer. Like, nah, for real.
No, I get it. That's a part of it.
Nah, for real. But nah, that's not how I find peace.
Well, I'm saying, how do you like,
read? No. Honestly, working with my hands.
Okay.
Listening to music and working with my hands. So like doing little projects at the crib, whether it's trying to lay floors. Got through building being a doghouse out of some extra wood floor.
I never saw the finished product of it.
Yeah, I got the frame finished. Yeah, so I got it. Yeah, he stays in it now, but I'm still gonna like insulate it and everything.
That's tough.
But yeah, I just built headboards out of my wood. Like I like to build and create things. That's why I go in that's my zone. I like to get in that zone. And music, like I said, music is really probably even more so than like weed or any alcohol. Like music,
you're passionate about. Yeah,
it's the thing that affects my mood more than anything else. Music, for sure. So
I did an interview with Boss.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I love this album, and I'm always so surprised. I'm thinking I'm putting him in that rap category. I'm like, nah, like your boy be singing.
Yeah, he got some vocals on there too.
I forgot what it was. I can't think of it. I ain't finna sing it. Like I turn the radio on. What's that song? Every time I think of you, gotta turn the radio. So I did like a whole little thing with him, and I love seeing people get excited about their craft. Like I saw y'all in a couple music videos. We call himself Bolo. What is it? Dolo.
Dolo.
Yeah. We knew of each other, but I ain't never.
Oh, you know, Devin like that.
Yeah.
Dolo.
But I see y'all on here, and I see y'all doing y'all thing. It's so dope.
Yeah,
I love seeing people in their element. That's why I always ask, like, you know, what genuinely makes you kind of spark up.
That and
yeah,
doing things in my hand. Like every morning, the first thing I do when I get up is go and turn on my the speaker in the house, and like I'm blasting music loud.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm renting out a room right now, and I don't care that he in there asleep or whatever. Like he know every morning.
You know what time it is.
I'm turning on that music every morning, but I don't try to do it to be disrespectful, or if I had company or something, like I don't try to do it to wake him up. But that's how I get my day going. Like, if I'm in the shower, I'm listening to music. In the car, of course, I'm listening to music. If I'm at home working on something, I'm listening.
When are you silent?
I'm cutting.
I have problems with that too.
That's a problem.
I'm never quiet.
Even when I go to sleep, I have to have the TV on, and that's somebody was telling me like you need to be able to get to your garden.
Your brain rest.
Yeah, like actually Mike Wortham, the guy who told me and Run, he stepped with us as well. Told us to start this. Basically, talked about one time he's a preacher, he's a pastor, or used to be a pastor, Ebenezer. But he talked about in the sermon about getting in your garden. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody, even Jesus had to get in his garden before he had to take on his daunting task of getting crucified. The first thing he did was ask to go to a place. And then even in that garden, because he had to bring people with him, of course, his brothers, he still had to go and isolate himself even further. That's good. So it's like if Jesus got to go to his garden, then we all got to get to our garden at one point. So that's something I have been trying to work on, like getting to a place where I can just be quiet, like not even reading nothing, just really sit there and kind of, I don't know, I may start trying to do some yoga or something. My brother, he knows a little yoga and stuff.
It's important, but it's stupid.
I got to, but see, I'm getting older, bro. My body's starting to break down on me. So I
just stretch very well.
Yeah,
even if it's yoga, I don't call it yoga. I just stretch very well.
And listen. So that's what somebody else said. They was like, you can just stretch. Just you don't gotta do like yoga. You just sit and stretch and just have some kind of, instead of it being some music, just have like some ocean sounds or something. You know, some kind of sound like you're on the beach type thing while you stretch 15, 20 minutes in the morning. That's why I say I'm gonna really try to get on a regimen like of trying to get in a better place physically, mentally, you know what I'm saying, spiritually, like all those places, as well as financially and all those other things, but the core. I mean, I'm going to really try to work on getting back into that.
I'm always chasing that guy in the woods that we always see that's just like happy with no Wi-Fi, just chopping wood every day.
Bro, them Alaskan people, like that.
I just need to go
bush
fish.
People of Alaska.
I just go whatever. Yeah, I'm like, I want to, that's that type of life. I don't want to live that life.
Word for
But I'm just, to be that happy with your life.
I mean, they have to worry about things, but
it ain't no big stuff.
The things that they worry about are different than the things.
They got enough wood for the winter. They solid.
Right. That's what they worried about, though. Is like
first world problems,
man. Yeah. That's why I see Lil Duval say that a lot too. He's just like
free, man. He's free,
like, bro. We have a lot of problems here. We not perfect, but boy, it's a whole lot worse out there. Like than America, for that's why niggas ain't just so happy to just be so ready to leave. Yeah, they talk all that shit they want to. Why Dr. Umar still here? You feel what I'm saying? Because he know at the end of the day, his options.
That's a clip. You gotta use that one.
Like his options ain't that big. You know what I'm saying? Like the only other thing I can see is you trying to do like I love the Killer Mike show Trigger Warning. So he tried to do the episode with
he created his own city and stuff. Yeah.
That's the only thing you can really try to do. Like he really tried to do that shit. Like legit.
How was his bank going? Have you kept up with that?
Well, the bank he invested in, it's doing pretty well in what is it, Greenwood?
Something
Greenwood
like that.
Bank, I was thinking, is it Atlanta
Last
or
time
Georgia?
I checked, it was like in the early stages.
Yeah, but it's gonna do well. It's gonna do well. Citizens Trust here is still doing pretty well. We still have a branch of Citizens Trust here, Citizens Trust, which was an AG Gas and venture back in the day. So I've actually I've gone into another partnership or business with some friends that I went to college with, and that's who we're gonna open our business checking account with.
Hey, build up that business credit.
Yeah, that's what I said. And I said I was probably gonna start me another one with Rags at Citizens Trust too.
We got to, man. We gotta go legit.
Try to do the black folks too. I'm one of them type of people. I really try to do everything for my city or black as fuck.
I ordered a car when I first got here. and I'm shouting you out, Derek, wherever you are. I went through Turo to get a car. I just got here from the flight, I think on Thursday. Had like a Toyota Camry. That's what it was. Don't get the Toyota Camry from Derek on Turo. You heard it here first. I went to the guy's house like 9 o'clock at night. I messaged him a bunch of times, called him a bunch of times. It was a whole experience. Because I get him all the time from Austin, from white folks,
right?
Whatever. And so and not to go on the black business thing, you got to be, we all know that rhetoric, but there's still, I think we owe it to ourselves to look at our counterparts, our black peers, like, all right, bro, are you really on your shit? And so I got there, could get my car, as a whole thing, and he was trying to play me, bro. He like, I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but basically, I found him on Facebook, everything. Send him a message. I know what to do work. It's crazy because I found all the information on him. I got mutual friends with him and stuff, and he wasn't about his business. And so it's always in the back of my head working with black anybody, and it's a problem. So not the right answer.
Nah, for sure. I mean,
it's not, but it's like, but I had to go legit find a chat or something for the car I got now, just to get a car.
It's so sad because it's very true, but like there are a few companies that I know that I've never had a negative experience with them.
Yeah,
it's like Chick-fil-A. I don't think I've ever had a negative experience at Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. That might be the only company. So what I guess my point is that I try to be a little more. Now this is when I extend grace. It's when I'm working with black people.
Yeah.
Because I try to give them a pass not a pass. I don't give them a pass. I don't give them a pass. But I give them grace usually because I know that either they're just starting figuring things out and they haven't gotten in the groove of things. And I've also just learned too, and this is just from going to a lot of like Oriental restaurants and like that are originally owned by Orients, and like to see how they interact with people. Like they barely know the language, so they're not trying to be polite. And I've learned to be like, oh, okay, that's cool.
That's just
like,
how it is.
As long as my food
get my
good.
chicken fried rice.
So where I am with that is if a black person business is lacking in customer service, I give them grace on that. As long as my product is right, because I'm not.
Oh yeah, because
I'm not as big on
because the food gonna be good,
right? I'm not as big on you being the nicest person to me, because I know that I've met plenty of white people at Bama that were nice as hell and racist as fuck. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Play the part.
Yeah. So niceness is just about it's a thing that you're taught to be in order to ingratiate yourself in someone's whatever.
So do you feel like
trying to get into
that we're all searching? Okay, so there's a great conversation happening with black people. Like, how come I just can't be a good banker? We go in these environments. No, I'm a great banker. Why? How come you just can't be a good banker? You live your life, be a banker, and die. No, I have to be great because I'm the only black person on this board. There's so much pressure, but at the same time, I'm the only black person on this board. So I'm representing everybody. In these areas, I'm their
I'm the representation.
Yeah. What do you think about good versus great? And I guess we can just use corporate environments or even in podcasts, whatever.
Blacks have always, for the most part, been held to a standard higher than our counterparts.
Based off of what?
That's true.
Is it us or is it white folks or whoever?
At this point, it's a mixture, because now black folks hold black folks to those same standards. Like we hold ourselves to those same standards. But originally it was because we had to in order for a black person to go vote, they had to goddamn take a fucking literacy test. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That was impossible to
guessing the marbles or whatever.
Yeah. Guess how many suds are in this bar. Like,
dial. Yeah, it's wild.
So we've always had barriers that were placed there. So in order to get there, we had to go above and beyond just to get through. So from that, I think that's where we kind of, black people took a pride in being better than. We gotta be the
cream of the crop and everything that I do. Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with trying to be the greatest or a great or no with being a great banker or a great podcast host. I think the problem comes in when in order for you to get there, you have to either cut some corners or cut people down. And that's the only time I don't like it. So if you're trying to be a great banker and you feel like you're just doing that because you take pride in what you're doing, you're not doing it just to prove a point, just because you really take pride in it, then I feel like you should try to be a great banker. But if there's nothing wrong with a good banker there's nothing wrong. This is an argument I get into a lot. Okay. Well, not an argument, but a debate that I get into a lot with people who have gone into business ownership or entrepreneurship. I try to let people know, hey, like, it's cool to want to have your own business and enjoy having like the free time. Like, this shit hard too now. But it's cool that that's what you decide that you want to do. But we got to stop looking down on people who work 9 to 5 and are cool with just having that security and everything. They cool, like, but they not living in their purpose. You don't know what the fuck their purpose is, because it's their purpose. Get me started on their purpose might be in their family. It might not be another black male who has had a job and been able to get a pension and get a house and if they got a job that allowed them to do all that shit for them and their family, like, that is their purpose. That's their purpose. Their purpose might not be bigger than just making sure they can provide and do for their family. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Like, we got to stop trying to belittle people who do. So that's my only thing. Like, if I see somebody who is good at what they do, but it's a job, they don't have no ambition to really just try to move up the ladder, but they good and they stay where they is. They job is straight. Too. Like, yeah, you do that. Like, that's on you. Like, me personally, I wouldn't probably want to do that. If I'm in this place, I'm probably gonna want to keep moving up till there ain't nowhere else to move up to.
Yeah, I think that we're a select few in that, because, like you said, everybody does not, for whatever reason. Some people say it's about what you go on the spiritual side. You know, this is my threshold for whatever, because there's a lot of stress involved being on top, being the greatest, right? I always feel like, I don't know if you feel like this, I just speak for myself. I always feel like there's just like something on me. People call it the anointing. Other people call it the drive or whatever. But I just know, man, it's just so weird. I know in my bone marrow that I'm meant to be like something. I mean, I know what it is. I just know that I just got to keep striving for it. I don't know how. I don't know where that comes from. And I talk to other people. And like you said, you might not see it. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But I just say it's just something about me and my configuration, my environment, how I grew up, that put me in a position to just want more, just for the, because I have the capability to do so. I have the wherewithal to want it. So that's crazy that you have that. It's amazing. Yeah. And we think like, no, everybody want to do better. Just depending on, no, bro. Like I really feel like people they're not even meant to have the capacity to change, to affect change. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It reminds me of a conversation I was having with Ozu. At one point, and I think this might have been in that same conversation when we talked about BG, about prayer. It was just like there are, and this is not to belittle anybody, but there are a lot of beta males, who for sure want to be alpha males, but weren't made to be alpha males. You just meant to be a beta, bro. Every lion can't be the king of the jungle. There are a lot of lions. You think all those lions, they might be kings of their own jungle. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? But everybody is not meant to be grand. That's what I say. I'm not gonna say great, because great in their own right, but everybody's not meant to be grand. Some people are blessed with that favor or anointing or whatever they believe in. So what I try to remember is that I know that I am purposed to be thought provoking. I know that's what I'm good at. I'm good at getting people to think, not necessarily differently, but
you have a unique perspective for sure.
To at least not second guess, but take a second look at what it is. At least I'm good at that, making people at least go back and ponder. And I go back to a Tupac quote. I might not be the one that changed the world, but I spark the mind of the one who does. And so I kind of feel like, that's like that can look different, for different people. Some people, like George Floyd, I'm sure wasn't expecting to change the world like he did. I'm sure he thought he was supposed to be great and do great things, but I'm pretty sure he didn't think it was.
Isn't that crazy though? In death.
Yeah. So
kind of like Samson, legit.
Yeah, for sure. So you know what I'm saying? It's just
crazy.
like it's a weird thing. Like some people's purpose are like some people are walking in their purpose and don't even know it. Like, and it's sad, but some people's purpose are to be either a reminder in a good way or a bad way of how to move forward in life. You know what I'm saying?
So how do you tell somebody to be okay with that? What's your advice? Because that's probably, if I ever did have an issue, I do understand that, but I don't I'm not okay with just being a beta male, Jay, or whatever.
Well, I feel like it's about, first, as a society, we have to stop saying that men have to be this. You see what I'm saying? In order for him to be a man, you got to be this. You got to be straight, fuck a lot of hoes, get a lot of money, and still have a wife. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to
check all the boxes.
Yeah, we got to get out of that. But then once we get out of that, then people just have to then start understanding that, you just got to, goes back to knowing who you are. You just got to be comfortable. Like, well, okay, like this is. I have friends, and that's why I don't really try to get into whole beta alpha. But for the example, it was needed. But I don't try to get into the entire like, oh well, beta is less than. It's just different. It was alpha might have been the first fraternity, but I mean, all the fraternities that are the major fraternities now are relevant. They on that same level. Like, it's not about being first. It's not about being the one that's seen. It's about making sure that you do it right, and whatever your job is,
you do it well.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what we got to get. A lot of people want to be first or seen, and I think people, once they just get comfortable with doing their job and knowing that, even though they may not be the one that's seen or heard or first, that their job or their task or their whatever is very beneficial still to the overall picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, in basketball, it's a little different because I was gonna go to basketball.
Yeah.
Well, we can go to basketball. We can go like Jordan is the alpha male on the Bulls. We know that. Pippen was reluctantly a beta male in the sense that Mike was the first option. He was
always first. Number 2, yeah.
He was there before Scotty. He was the first option. So like, and he was 5. You know what I'm saying? So like, he had to be in that beta male role. And to be honest though, I look at Dwayne Wade did the same thing in Miami. I look at people who are able to really take on that role when they know they have been an alpha before for something to work. I look at that as like an even greater.
He knew his role was necessary.
Right. Like he knew, like I know what I have to do. Draymond Green, he's a good example. Draymond Green, like he know that nigga have a triple double and don't even have double-digit points. You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
he play his part.
He know what he know, but that come from them people. Well, Scott is struggling with it. We see at his older age because he got some shit to say every day.
He probably, you hear it so much.
Yeah, MJ,
yeah.
But I guess like they knew how to be robbing and cool with it. You know what I'm saying? That takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? To know like, damn, like that. But that's just people just know themselves. So I just think as people learn themselves and learn like, oh, okay, it's a bigger picture than just being the face or being seen or being da. I think people but it's hard now with social media though. Ironically, it's hard to be that or to be comfortable not being seen or what you got, because, and especially think about kids that are born into this society, like born into this tech world. Like, in the next 5 years, there will be kids that are born after the metaverse
in the metaverse
has become a real thing.
Yeah.
So like they're gonna be bred into this. We are learning this shit after we were bred from
when Facebook
I
started.
I didn't get a goddamn cell phone till I was 14. Now a kid doesn't have a tablet by the time they're 3 or 4.
Oh, that's a given. Yeah, it comes with the baby.
Yeah, so it's like, so but I understand. I remember I was one of those parents that was like, man, I ain't gonna get my kid no phone till they 14 like I was. Man,
I always still say my kid gonna get a 92 Civic no matter what. He gonna have the same car I had. He's gonna have 300,000 miles.
Because by the time I have a child and they 13, 14, the world gonna be so different. You probably gonna need a cell phone just to be able. You feel me? Or at that point, for real, it might be to a point where like they already. Elon Musk already working on the body link shit where you can goddamn have like a chip and
Apple Pay with your wish.
You feel me? You can be able to like they gonna get to the phone. It was a man talking about in 10 years, 5 to 10 years, AT&T, Verizon, all of them gonna be done. It's gonna be one company that owns all that shit, and what you gonna be able to do is be able to basically you're not gonna even have a phone. You're just gonna have a bunch of series, and you're gonna have a chip or something that you can use, and just be like. Alexa, call
this in your head, yeah.
You feel me? While I'm just talking in the car, and I can maybe have an earpiece or something. But I'm not a phone in itself is like gonna be. It's gonna be something where you can just have a projection and like pull up the game and it just pop up. Yeah, but it's not gonna be a phone like how it is now.
You remember how crazy it was to see somebody with the one Bluetooth earpiece and they thought they were talking to themselves. Yes, that's crazy.
AirPods is like a thing. Like you gotta have AirPods or if you're Apple or for Galaxy, you gotta have the Galaxy Tab things or whatever. So
that's crazy.
But like I said, it's about being able to know who you are and be able to, even as we have to adapt, be able to still stay the same. So it's I've been saying this word a lot during this shit, but balance though. It's a balance in being able to.
I think we do go through different themes in our life. See, you call them seasons or whatever else, but it's just, I think if you just understand what you're going through, it makes life a lot easier. But you gotta be like in tune with yourself. Yeah. You know, be in tune with God, whatever you believe in. Is that you have to find your Gandhi moment. You know, be centered, whatever you want to call it. It's always these different words. History repeats itself, whatever. But the more that you chase the idea of peace or, just being grateful, I don't really think you can lose. Yeah, I think you'll because you're just in this good space all the time. Stuff just you're ready for it for one. You blow up tomorrow, I feel like you'd be pretty decent. You know, be a little ebbs and flows.
I'd be able to handle it though.
Yeah,
at this age.
Because I'm saying because you have done the steps to learn who you are and even learn who the rags, whoever are, right? Hey, this is how I'm gonna take it. I got a team. I know people I can trust. I tell my people all the time, let me get one opportunity. I got a plan. I written it down.
Yeah, I
got a plan. I know I'm gonna have four people with me. I already know who my entourage is gonna be. Whatever they gonna do, I don't know. Yeah. But I know I'm extroverted, so I got a homeboy named Patrick. He does this. You know what I'm saying? When he talks, like he's like that guy. He would be like the business guy. I already got a sound guy. I already have it in my head. I've envisioned it, and so that. And then you talk about the Bible making it plain. Well, I'm gonna elevate you if you don't even know what it's gonna look like.
Right.
You don't have a vision for it.
Right.
So I know. I got it written down. I know the answer to what would you do if you won $1 million. I got it down to the cent.
Man, I didn't. But I was just one of my homeboys the other day was having a conversation about that shit. Cause I was like, bruh.
I know exactly what
we were talking about KG and how he ended up when he got his first that $100 million check. Yeah. When he became the big ticket. He gave I think 6 or 7 of his best friends $1 million a piece.
Off the string.
I said, hey, bruh, he wouldn't never have to do anything else for me again. Like. Cause this is the thing I told him. That shit didn't register until I told him. I said, bro, it's plenty of folks who didn't work all their lives, hard-working people who ain't never seen $1 million in income from their job
just
in their lifetime.
Sitting in there
in their lifetime. Just probably have. There are a lot of people who work jobs that ain't making $30,000 a year.
That's true.
And they working 30 years. That's just $900,000. So it's just like if you put it in that perspective, you see what I'm saying? It's like. Damn, there's some folks who ain't never made $1 million.
You were meant to be that person for your team.
So if I were to get that $1 million, I know first I would never go broke again. I'm not I told him I splurge a certain. I forgot
Oh,
what the
yeah.
dollar was. It might have been like I'm gonna treat myself with 300,000 of that. But
Yeah,
the
the
other
rest of
7,000,
investments, whatever else.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
invest. But the investments I was talking about was like I said, I just got the plan already down. I was gonna buy me. I know some people that I went to church with. They ended up doing it a couple of years back, but they bought them a building downtown. They stay on the first 2 levels.
Get you an apartment. That's just
They
so
rent
smart.
they rent out the bottom level. It's commercials property.
Mm-hmm.
So already they making like that money is
recouped.
So it's like this. It's about me investing in things to where I know either they'll make me money or it'll make me enough to where it won't cost me anything to do it.
That's why people are so important. They're currency. He's currency. Yeah. Not just whoever y'all pay, whatever. It's that relationship is currency. So like by default, because somebody got to beat the guy.
Right.
I started thinking like this when I was looking at Kevin Hart and the Paper Cup Boys. They call themselves.
Yeah. Paper.
And they did side interviews about he comes up Paper Cup Boys or something. His little comedy scene, Plastic Cup Boys, sure.
It might have been Plastic Cup Boys.
Yeah. But they talked about being okay with
Kevin being the guy, yeah.
Because and then they used a dynamic where he was cheating. Like my boys just went with me. Everybody couldn't. I kind of understood that because he depended on them. Where I'm weak. It's your job to pick up the slack. It's a village, right? So you have your boys, your inner circle. That's what I call mine, at least. I say when you're my friend, because I learned that way too early. That's why I was quote unquote lame in high school. I knew what a friend was early. Not just because we play football together don't mean we were supposed to run together with the same Nike socks on the same day, whatever. I knew I did. My dad, he's born in 51. He taught me what a friend was too early, and so I would just keep myself far away from a lot of the fake stuff that I saw initially. And so now I see where it is about roles. It's about relationships and people having the capacity to see the vision in me when I don't even see it in myself. Right? So I guarantee you can talk to your you text him right as soon as we get done and just say, well, what do you see for me? Like, what is your vision for our friendship? Boom, 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 whatever I'm doing. You probably have one for them. Yeah, man, if you just keep going, blah, blah, blah. They might even make me thinking like that. But off the strength of that conversation at Wi-Fi at 3 o'clock in the morning, yo, you right. I think I might just get the LLC.
Right.
So when you realize that success is relational, your world opens up.
Team is definitely important.
It's great. So, and I see the people that you have done interviews with, because I've been keeping up with you as we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Social media stalk people and stuff.
Right.
But I see the people you had on, your people that you run with, it's always the same. It's always them couple of few that, oh yeah, I know it's something real brewing. Oh yeah, it's the way you stand. Even the drunk video when you was bent over, you showed when you got drunk at some club, right?
In the club.
You were comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah, I don't care.
Record it to my folks, whatever. But it had it been me, hey, let me record me, Jay. Let me put you, because you had your people with you. That's so invaluable.
My homeboy that recorded it, he sent it to me. He didn't put it on social media. I actually put it on social media. So he was like, oh, I ain't want. I don't care about that shit. Because now that's one thing I don't care about is how I come across on social media.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but you had your people around you, so you was able to be comfortable. For sure.
I was up there I don't go to the club unless I'm, and this is not a lie. In Birmingham, I do not go to a club if Slug not DJing.
Yeah, he's solid.
Shout out to my brother, but that's my brother. And like, the only reason I go to Hush on Saturday and Sunday if I go in there is because Slug DJing. The only reason I go to the Vault on the Friday is because Slug DJing. The only reason I go anywhere in Birmingham is because DJ Slugger is on the ones too. So it's just like I know that full well. Like I'm not even comfortable for real in public if Slug not DJing, he at that party or I'm there with Nigel, Mike. Like, I'm in there with folks that I know are my brothers.
That's gonna hold it down.
Dolo, you know what I'm saying? Willie. Like I know these folks.
Yeah.
So it's like I can go into these spaces. I can go in even uncomfortable spaces with you know what I'm saying? Because I know
we're gonna make it happen. You do what you do. Yeah.
So that's always been something big, and that's something I've been always working on too, is building up the team. Cause you first off, I don't care how great you are, anybody. I don't care how great Ye is. Ye has a team.
He has a team. I
don't care how great Ross is, but Ross will admit he has a team. How great they do with their investments, and they got a team. Drake, he always talking about the twins and Tug and Future. You know what I'm saying? Like Future the Prince. So it's like he always talking about his 40. Like he always, so it's big. Thug always talks about Ghana and his brother Funk and all of them. So it's just like people, the great ones, have that. Mm-hmm. They vetted these people.
Been through the fire.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. If I had to give anybody, somebody was asking me one day about like starting a podcast as if I'm a professional. Mm-hmm. And I was just telling them like the first thing you're gonna need is a team. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna be able to do all that shit yourself. Like, even if you are, you're not gonna enjoy it. You're gonna start enjoying it at one point.
It sucks so bad.
you gonna stop enjoying it because then it's gonna start to feel like work. Mm-hmm. And we know how work does.
Never get done.
So I'm gonna ask you this last question, and then we're gonna kind of start wrapping it up.
All right.
Close to the 2 hour mark.
I know it's a lot for you, ain't it? Yeah.
Well, no, it ain't a lot. No, it ain't a lot. We just cut it up.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's a lot of stuff.
I saw some of them. They were like an hour and some, and the other ones would be like 30 minutes.
Yeah. So we've been trying to cut it up.
Huh.
But
I feel it.
So, what is your view on how? Because you are Christian, right? Mm-hmm. So, what is your view on how a believer in Christ should look in a 2021, 2022 world?
You should base your relationship off of conviction.
Okay.
I'll use it as an example. My homeboy, I'm in Inner Circle, came in July, and I was out there, boy. I was living. I was just like you in the club, like you out there, right? So the next Sunday, I had to speak. I'm a little youth pastor-ish. I'm a youth pastor. Never take that role, but I speak frequently at the church. And the kid came up to me, got a little mentoring, and he's like, Jay, I saw you in the club. How could you? Like in the middle of nowhere, I was like, I just started laughing. I said, what do you mean? What did I do wrong? I don't know. I just saw you drinking. What was it, Hennessy? He was like, and he was so sincere about it. And I kind of set him down. I said, well, this doesn't keep me from a relationship with God. I said, if going to the club got me farther away from me praying every night, or going to church, or even being here, I probably shouldn't be doing it. Mm-hmm. I think people can get tagged. I got a whole sleeve right now. Some people say I ain't no Christian. I got a sleeve. It's about your level of conviction, because if you feel it, because that's the Holy Spirit, right? The Holy Spirit is inside of you, so if it's something that you're not supposed to be doing. You call it frequencies, you call it your chakra, your energy, whatever.
Right.
I think it's the Holy Spirit personally, but that this probably ain't for me. It's something that's a detriment to my business, to podcast, my life, whatever, to my wife, whatever. Even my dog. My dog come in. Think about it. You walk in, you been around another dog, he gonna sniff you.
Right. You gonna know.
Where you been? Right. So, and it was funny because I felt so good about it. I didn't feel any type of way when he asked me about that. But I found out I was drinking too much at some point, because it's a military thing. That stereotype is very true. We drink a lot of fish. But I found out I was drinking too much, and I realized that, oh man, I stayed up late on Saturday off the strength because I had a hangover. I couldn't make it for church. So then I felt bad because I'm convicted. And and that's the Holy Spirit inside you. Like, hey, I get it, And then people go to the scriptures about moderation, this and the third. Like, your relationship with God is supposed to be simple. Because legit, I can give you a prayer right now, say you're not saved, believe Jesus died for your sins, boom, boom, boom. You're going straight to heaven. I fervently believe that. All the tithing, speaking in tongues, spiritual gifts, that's all extra. Okay? God just said you have to just believe that my son came here 33 years later, died, boom, boom, boom. You need to believe in that act, that his blood covers the rest of everybody forever. You're good. That's simple. It ain't no like a Catholicism, like you got to go and repent every Sunday and talk to the God and the little thing. It ain't no, and I do believe in some Muslim ideologies, because we are kings. It's a whole black dynamic to it as well. So I read 2 books on Elijah Muhammad and how he views black men and how we should kind of operate. So I do believe that we should be militant with our team to a certain extent. But my faith resides in God and having that relationship. Yes, I've done stuff that probably, it's just at the core of me that we always work on, right? But I do know that it's like a marathon. It's a pilgrimage, as we call it. It's a because it's just fine tuning, just like what we do in here. Like I'm gonna be a little bit better each day, And it's the sincerity behind how you decide to live. Yeah, you gonna fall. If you got a wife and you smash this girl, oh, hey, if I did 3 this year, at least I did 2 this year. That's growth. People will laugh at that all the time. But if you're sincere about it, I said my homeboys all the time, before I decided to get married, I probably had 12 people I could call on. And before I got married, I had to legit wean myself off of hoes. I just did. That's my vice. My dad got issues with it. My brother got issues with it. It's genetic. It's intergenerational trauma is what they call it. Without getting too deep. But you have to know what you're prone to. I always tell people to look at their lineage and what was your vice? Oh, I struggle with that too. It's crazy. So I knew myself. Again, I'm an extreme personality. So I was like, hey, Keisha, you in September, gotta let you go. You know, boom, gotta let you. I had to do that before I decided to believe in the idea of marriage, because that's a whole different thing. But I know myself. So long story short, it's your level of conviction is you being sincere and having a relationship with God. There's my answer.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I just, I guess I'll say this a little bit and wrap it up.
Yeah. But, I can talk about that all day. I want to be long-winded.
I've just had people who are just so surprised when they find out like I'm still over the step ministry at my church.
Mm-hmm.
They be like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes." Like you are, yes. And I'm not gonna say too much, but I am very open with my boys.
Yeah.
About life and how it works. Of course, I try to be respectful of the place, so I don't say anything too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still myself. And the people are like, well, how can you do that and still say you're a Christian? I always try to let people know that the relationship that you have is a personal one.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom used to always remind me, though, that although it is a personal relationship, what fruit comes from it has to be evident that it is a fruit from good or from God and not from the devil. So with that being said, what I've learned about Christianity and getting in that personal relationship and still making sure that you are fruitful is that if it keeps you, whatever it is that's taboo, whether it's with me it's weed, with some folks it might be homosexuality.
You think weed a bad thing?
I mean, but it's not about. To me,
if it
taboo.
blocks you from
It's
okay,
taboo.
okay,
It's
okay.
taboo. It's taboo. That's
That's
what I'm
great.
saying. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. I know for me, it's not something that makes me want to do harder drugs.
Yeah, ain't no gateway drug, all that other stuff. Yeah,
it's not something that makes me want to go and commit any kind of like trespasses against anyone. It's not. It's something that keeps me at home, mellows me out. You know what I'm saying, and it keeps me from actually acting out sometimes. Like it actually keeps me from acting out, because I used to be a firecracker when I was young. I used to have a nice little temper on me. But folks be like, you so cool now, you so chill, you so cool. I was like, but I ain't cool, nigga. I'm probably high. Like when you saw me, I was probably high. Like, just to be real. But I know the folks always judge me for that. But I've learned that, you know, as long as when people are around me, I can see God working through me. Just how you affect people. Like, not do people like being around you because you're the life of the party, but when people leave you, are they filled?
Yeah.
Exactly. So as long as I feel like my encounters with people are doing that, I won't feel like things that I'm doing is keeping me from God, because obviously He's still in me, working through me. So that's like my expounding.
Yeah.
Because I believe what you're saying too. Like, it's about my personal convictions, and I just want my fruits. Because like I said, my mom used to always ask me, "Well, but what are you doing all that? Is that really what God would want you to do?"
Well, you're the next generation. You're supposed to. They're not really supposed to agree with your ideology, to be honest. They didn't agree with their own parents' ideologies.
Right. So
that was a different way of looking at it.
And so I told, like I said, I tell her, like, yes, like I definitely see like the things that I do. Yeah. Not the things that I do as far as partaking or drinking. Like I was fucked up on my show. Cussing. Cussing is one thing I really struggle with. But I would never curse anyone out. Which means, not saying I won't cuss a lot while I'm talking to them, but I would never be saying something while I'm cursing or saying something to belittle them.
Yeah, because it's really the action, not the words.
I would never be saying something to make them feel as if they are less than. I try to make sure I'm big, because that's what people don't realize. Before, when I was younger and I was cursing, I felt bad because I was making people feel. Like people would be like, "Damn, Mike, you made me feel bad when you said it." And that's why okay, yeah. So that wasn't God.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? But that wasn't the weed or the alcohol. That was just
stuff you had to deal with.
Yeah, that was just me. Like, that was just my mental. So sometimes, like I said, it's more about what you are doing internally, and does that come across and benefit people in a, like I said, I don't try to get on good and bad, but in a way that you are morally convicted of. So I feel like my thing is to make people think. If you don't believe in God, or if you believe in God, I tell people, go find out for yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I had to go do. That's the only way you're going to get a personal relationship. That's the only way you're going to really understand. That's the only way you're going to understand how prayer works. It's
the sincerity, because half the time I had these conversations, everybody's so opinionated, and I get it. It's because it's information now. Right. You go to church back in the day, there was no information. There was no internet for real. So you had no choice but to believe in the preacher. So now it's like, no, Moses' sandals was red. They wasn't blue, pastor. You know? And so, but I said, usually it comes down to, at the head of all these tough conversations, is were you sincere in doing that? We can talk about all the, you see all the arguments and stuff on Facebook. This not really this, it's not really that. But when you really tried Jesus, were you sincere, or were you just doing it for a rebuttal? What were you doing it for? Because there's a difference in if you're gonna look at titles between the atheist and the agnostic. An agnostic just don't care about nothing. I'm just living. I might be a tree, I might not. God might be real. An atheist makes it their point to debunk other religions. And they read the Torah, they read the Bible just to say, no, like,
that's wrong. It's wrong. That can't be real.
And now I say it's more of a relationship on your point than it is religion. Because religion is telling me, when I used to play the drums for churches, I had to wear a tie and a suit. I can't do that. I'm a drummer. Like, I was hot in a box. Like, I had to quit a job, paid very well. It was really good. $300. I thought it was good. $300 a week for Sundays, but I had to quit it because he was more so on the religion aspect of, you present yourself this way, people won't get God if you and whatever. Right. And that's what so that's what I think our generation is. I know we done. Our generation puts us in a box, and now we have to get past that because there's so much out there. And I hate seeing the Aries conversations, the zodiac signs. I'm this way because of that. And it's like, it's so exhausting. I've deleted so many people on Facebook. I figure out you can unfollow people now. I still be cool, but it's like, people really believe that. Sometimes it's fun. I'm just a Virgo, whatever. But people really believe that if you put a crystal in your purse, you gonna feel better on Sundays. People really believe, girl, what's what they be talking about? The moon, what's the thing? We're in retrograde. Oh, girl, and it be like 87 comments.
That's always been a thing. Like, I've always known people.
They want to believe in something so much different besides God. It's just God.
So popular now. But I tell folks all the time, like, even science, for so many years is trying to prove that there was no God. It was just science. Nigga, you just explaining what you don't understand. That's what God is. Like, we are constantly trying to make God fit into
understandable, and he's not supposed to be.
So if it's like, as we figure out what it is that's going on, we try to say, well, that ain't God. Look, this is exactly what God is.
We're finite beings. God is infinite. And so if I'm going to pray to this desk has to do something that I don't understand. And I don't have to understand it because it's my God. If I built a desk, I know how it works. It's probably not my God because I know if I take an X.
Manipulate it.
I know how to manipulate. You can't. Exactly. So that's what's the difference. You're not supposed to understand everything in the Bible. I ain't saying being stupid or do no research. I'm just saying that if I'm going to pray to something, it needs to be something. That's what faith comes in. That's all God wants you to do, is have faith in the things that you cannot see. And that bothers us to the core because we're so used to going on Google and knowing who was the microphone holder for Insecure on this particular episode. We can find it out. Is that not crazy?
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing, but it's just like, It's so crazy that Apple is a fucking beating Apple. Like their logo is there, but that's because it's kind of like the tree of knowledge. It's like the forbidden fruit. Like
it's no coincidence.
That's exactly what it is. It is a way for us to get the knowledge that I want to say we don't need or we shouldn't have, but it's a way for people to be exposed to knowledge that they probably aren't mature enough to handle. So then they take that knowledge and try to find ways to disprove what it is. Like, no. That's not what you've done at all. You've just explained it in a way to where you can understand it now, or at least try to understand.
For sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, it's been a joy.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's been a bit. These 2 hours went back fast for real. I didn't realize we went here this long, but man, yeah, I appreciate you for coming out once again. This is my. Call him Jay. This is my guy, Jay Coach, the owner of No Tact Talks.
That's right.
You can give everybody your plugs where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, so it started off as a tongue twister. I know it is No Tact, but No Tact Talk. But it has caught on. It really has. I got the hoodies and No Tact. People like, it's No Tact. Oh, I created something. Right? But no, it's notacttalk.com. Everything you find, the socials and stuff. I'm on everything that's out, including TikTok. That's stupid. But as far as what I do, I tell people I do have the time. I talk to people who are proprietary, who have no tact, just, real, whatever you want to call it, in their arenas, and we just spread that. It's kind of similar to what you're doing. We just spread that ideology of being great and being unapologetic about it. So yeah, you can put it in the description. Y'all can find it there. But No Tact Talk, baby.
Gotcha,
That's
man.
it.
Once again, you have been tuned in to the Rags Rants. You know what time it is. As always, our goal is to make you think, make you stop, make you wonder, make you ponder. You feel me? It's always about being thought-provoking, and it's always about putting on for my city and for my black people. I love y'all. I'll be easy.
Peace.